Here's our second video for our Chapter 2 review in class, and I'm going to focus on the last 6 from the front page, so G through L. What I'm going to start with here is just identifying that this says 9 subtract 6x and the 5. So your subtract, you need to distribute to your 6x and your 5. So it's going to be 9x minus 6x minus 5 equals 10. You can kind of think of it as a -1 that you're distributing to each of the terms inside the parentheses. So these terms are going to alternate signs of what they originally were. Now, because these terms are on the same side of the equal sign, I'm going to combine them together. 9 minus 6 is going to give me 3 x's, and then I have minus 5 equals 10. So to get my letter x alone, I'm going to add 5 to both sides. So I have 3x is equal to 15. And now if I divide by the coefficient of 3, I'm going to get 15 divided by 3, which is 5. Okay, now for letter H, I'm going to rewrite this over 1 just so that I can kind of see it a little bit better as a fraction equal to a fraction. You don't have to write it over 1, but my first step is going to be to multiply by 2. So I'm going to take my 16 times -2, and that's going to equal my 3x plus 10, because if I multiply it by 1, it's just going to be 3x plus 10. Or without having written it as a fraction, so let me erase that right here, just so you can see it maybe slightly differently. How do you undo a divide by 2? You multiply by -2. Okay, so that's why I multiplied here. So this is going to get me -32, and that's going to equal to 3x plus 10. So to get my variable alone, to get it isolated, I'm going to subtract 10 on the other side. And now my variable 3x is alone, it's equal to -42. And this is going to go in evenly. I know that 3 goes into 42. Here's a divisibility rule. 4 and 2, those are your digits. If you add them up together, you get 6. And 6 is a number divisible by 3. So I know it's going to go in evenly. You actually get 14. -14, because there was a negative sign there. Okay, now, letter I here, my variable is being divided by 3. I'm not going to do anything with that quite yet. But first, I'm going to get that term isolated by subtracting 17 to the other side. So I'll have -2 is equal to a number divided by 3. What could you take and divide it by 3 so that you get -2? Well, that number is going to be -6. -6 divided by 3 will get you your -2. Okay, here are the last 3 for Chapter 2 review packet. I'm going to start with distributing on the left side here, because that's what that 5 in front of your group of parentheses means. 5 times 3 is 15x. 5 times 4 is going to be a 20. And now I'm kind of noticing something. I notice these are the same, and I notice those are the same. Watch, I'm going to rewrite this. Do you see it now? Do you see that these are identical? Anything you put in here is going to match what you put in here. This is infinite solutions. You could put all real numbers. You could write even the infinity sign. Those would all be good. But algebraically, if I were to subtract my variables to the other side, notice how these numbers that are left are identical. They match. Versus when my letters canceled out here, the numbers did not match. And so when they do not match, no solution. So notice your variables cancel, the numbers do not match, no solution. And here, again, the variables cancel, but the numbers do match. That's going to get you an infinite solution. Okay, I got 2 more here. I notice that I have variables on both sides, so what I'm going to start with is adding an x to this side. That way I'm going to solve for a positive x. Okay, now to get my x term alone, I'm going to add 8 to the other side, and I get 7x is equal to 0. Well, I have a variable to solve for. It didn't, the variable isn't eliminated like these. Notice how those variables eliminated. 7 times what number gets you 0? Well, that number has to be 0 for you to multiply and get 0. Okay, last one here. On your calculator, I want to show you how to multiply here. So I'm going to take 3/4, so 3, and I'm going to hit my ABC fraction button here, and then the number 4, and I'm going to multiply by 24. So you can use your calculator. Or you could do 24 times 3, get an answer, and then divide by 4 if you wanted to do it in a couple steps. But that's going to get us 18. Now 3/4 times, I want -4, is going to get me a minus 3x for this term. Now if I distribute 3 on the right side, I'll have 3x plus 18. Okay, so now I have letters on both sides. I'm going to add my 3x over to join the x's on the right side because I like to solve for a positive x value. So 6x plus 18. And again, if my letters are on the right side, that means I need to move my numbers to the other side. And you got to use an inverse operation to move a term across the equal sign. So 0 is equal to 6 times a number. Well, 6 times 0 has to be 0. So your solution is 0. 6 times 0 is equal to 0. Okay, stay tuned. I'm going to shoot another video for the literal equations on the back side.